This COVID break has really allowed me to reflect and remember a lot about my childhood. And if you were like me during the 90s, one of the things that you binged on was wrestling. And in today's video, you're going to find out where Stone Cold Steve Austin ranks on my list of all-time greatest wrestlers in the World Wrestling Entertainment history. And as I said, my all-time greatest. Alright, so to help me determine this, I will select the categories and I will give a score between 0 to 10. And these four categories which I've selected: entrance music, did they walk down the ramp immediately? Did that get you excited? Their finishing move, how original it was or how awesome was it? And of course, wrestling could not be wrestling without on the mic skills, and of course how they perform within the ring. So I know we have a lot of persons to choose from, and many persons will say there's no Goldberg on my list, there's no Sting, there's no Diamond Dallas Page, though they might have been greats. I am really looking at those who would have been in the WWE for quite a considerable amount of time, and those legends spent most of their professional time in the WCW period. So here you go. So I'm just going to list up some honorable mentions. And for example, Andre the Giant, he was the 8th wonder of the world, and of course at 7'4", he even made large men like Hulk Hogan seem Kurt Angle is also there, one of the greatest technical wrestlers in WWE history. Angle is one of the most loathed characters of all time, and you suck. Who could ever forget that? Every time he enter the building, that's what they always shout. You suck. And honestly, it was amazing, but fell short. Randy Orton, and trust me, in the last 20 years between Cena and Orton, trust me, I don't see anyone eclipsing them. But he again fell a bit short in terms of my top 10. Ultimate Warrior, and yeah, he did well, but didn't wind up on my top 10. And ironically, this might shock you about this name being mentioned for honorable mention. Vince McMahon. He wasn't legitimately a part of the roster, but he had the charisma, great entrance music, and of course, he had a lot of moments in the WWE that will live on forever. So let us get straight into my top 10. Alright, so starting at 10, Mick Foley. And entrance music, 3.7 at best. And Mick Foley wrestled under several alter egos and each had a different walkout song, but they were basically lame. And the worst of them all was, of course, Dude Love. Unless you really love disco, but not a fan of that. Alright, in terms of finishing move, 5.9. It's not a Stone Cold Stunner or a Rock Bottom, but the Mandible Claw was certainly unique. I wouldn't believe that a person pulling a sock and doing that would really do much, but 5.9 in terms of his finishing move. On the mic, he's a solid performer on the mic. I will give him a 9.5. Plenty of wrestlers over the years have played the role of the Tormented Soul, guys like Kane, Raven, Gangrel, Al Snow. They all did it well, but no one could deliver a performance like Foley. And trust me, the fact that he could juxtapose Mankind's mania with Dude Love's chill persona added to his intrigue. And trust me, his performance as Cactus Jack when he was in ECW, memorable. So on the mic, 9.5. In the ring, trust me, Mick Foley, he wasn't the most technical wrestler, but in terms of performance, the moment with Undertaker where he was thrown off the top of the Hell in the Cell and onto the announcer's table, trust me, that was probably one of the most iconic moments in WWE history for me. Years later, Triple H would do something like that, throwing Cactus Jack through the cell and through the canvas of the ring, and that stunt was also awesome as well. And he did win 3 championships, 8 WWF Tag Team Championships, and of course he was also a hardcore champion as well. So overall, his total score for me out of the 40 is 28.8, and he is my number 10. Alright, number 9, Roddy Piper. And his entrance music, trust me, I would give it 7.9. The most effective entrance songs. It let the entire arena know that with one note, you know who is going to walk down the ramp. And trust me, even if the bagpipe music makes you cringe, there was only one man that could make it possible that when you hear it, you really feel excited. The irony is that Piper wasn't actually from Scotland. He has Scottish heritage, but he's a Canadian. So WWE kind of played on that one. In terms of his finishing move, 4 out of 10. And Piper was one of the first to master the art of the sleeper hold, but the sleeper hold is kinda, let's say, boring. In terms of his skill on the mic, 9.9. And for better or worse, Piper's pit is what tuned wrestling into the dramatic theater it is today. And he was basically a promotional hit every time he touched the microphone. So trust me, in terms of his in-the-ring performance, I would give him an 8.1. But his legacy really lies in his tongue, and he was one of the greatest heels to ever grace the canvas, and he was a pretty good wrestler, and he had many classical matches alongside Ric Flair and of course Bret Hart. So overall, he is 29.9 out of 40. and that is Roddy Piper. Alright, at number 8 we have Macho Man Randy Savage. His entrance music his entrance music 8.5, and it's nowhere near the top of the list of the worst entrance songs, but it can get annoying after a while. So yeah, the first 10 seconds are amazing and that was the instant hype, but as the song goes on you kind of like hurry up and shut up. So his finishing move 6.4. Not really much to say there. In terms of his on the mic skills, he's a solid 10, and only The Rock and probably, well, only The Rock, but in Cena, Vince McMahon probably hired the best orator ever. He could be serious and funny at the same time, or just pull off a very good performance. In terms of his in-the-ring theatrics, he's a 16-time champion. He won the United States Championship 5 times, tag team 4 times, and he's a solid performer, and he did all of that in jean shorts. So he come in at 9.6 for me, and his overall score 34.5 out of 40. Coming in at number 6, The Undertaker. His entrance music 10-ish, 9.6, 10-ish, but trust me, as a kid, his entrance, let's put it at 9.6. His entrance was, trust me, the bells and all of that, it was like, wow. And the only thing, let me see. The only thing that I could say was when he spent probably that 5-year stretch riding into Kid Rock. Well, yes, that took away. So yes, it's 9.6. So his finishing move, iconic. He had 2, the choke slam and the tombstone pile driver, and trust me, not only did it require a great feat of strength, but it also immediately transitioned into his patented arm cross arm pin. So trust me, Those moves were awesome and I give it a 9.2. On the mic, sadly, Taker wasn't really a talker, but his little bantering with Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels over the years. 6.2. And I'm going to bring in Paul Bearer for this one. He did most of the talking, so around the character using Paul, 6.2. Alright, so his in the ring performance, 9.8. 9.8, and I think that's fair enough to make everything round off to 34.8. So in the ring, he put together a good streak, 21 consecutive victories in the sport's biggest stage. 7-time champion, 6-time WWE Tag Team Champion with astonishingly 4 different partners. So he was one of those persons who had longevity. And coming in at number 5, let me see if I can do it. Well, I can. But Ric Flair. So his entrance music, 9.6, and it wasn't the music only, but his on the mic skills, he was right up there with Randy and Ric Flair. So who could remember? Brother, everybody called him brother. So we could get behind that. 9.5. And of course, his in the ring, trust me, during the 80s, in the early 90s, every kid wanted to be like Hulk Hogan. So he really was like the Michael Jordan of wrestling. And of course, that alone, I'll give him a 10 for that. And that makes his total score 36.1 out of 40. Guess who's at number 3? The Rock. And of course, there was no one bigger in terms of, you have, the other two are bigger, yes. So, but The Rock, trust me, entrance music, the first 10 seconds, trust me. But after that, you're like, turn this off quickly, turn it off. But trust me, his finishing move, maybe you prefer Goldberg's spear and jackhammer, but trust me, what could be bigger than the rock bottom followed by the people's elbow? And then you would hear Jim Ross or Michael Cole screaming, rock bottom, and trust me, it was was hype. On the mic, don't even have to go any further. Trust me, solid 10. Solid 10. Rock was the king of the one-liners. Know your role. Shut your mouth. So trust me, during the Attitude Era, Rock was king. And the in-ring performance, trust me, 9.8 solidly. Apart from his oversell, especially with the stunners, I would give him a 10, but 9.8. So, trust me, 38.4, not bad. But Rock is my number 3. And where does Stone Cold